Science, the intellectual and practical activity encompassing the systematic study of the structure and behavior of the physical and natural world through observation and experiment. This is the description or definition of science. So this video is going to be about science versus non-duality in terms of which one is actually speaking about the truth of reality, which is closer or which is the right one. So first of all, do you see there are a couple claims here? One, that there is a natural world, and one, that there is a physical world. So of course, for there to be a natural world, there will need to be a physical world. So let's just stick on the word physical. Now, the word physical, I'm just going to get that up now. The definition of physical is relating to the body as opposed to the mind. So, my friends, my fellow expressions of consciousness, this is not going to be a bashing video. That's not what I'm about. I'm only about truth. If some feelings get hurt, so be it. This is about truth. That's all this is about. So if you are a scientist, if you are believing that that is the truth, then let's just look together and see if it is so. We've all been in a particular paradigm and then jumped out into a new paradigm of understanding. So we have to investigate the claims that there is such thing as a physical body, a physical world, physicality, full stop. We've looked at the senses already in full, in deepness. We've looked at the senses. We've come to see that the senses themselves do not exist as separate entities, separate things from experience, from consciousness, from that base layer that is needed for an experience to take place in the first place. We've looked at that. If you've skipped that part, go and watch those videos again. It will help you understand just what is true, quite frankly. Or help you verify, help you come to a better conclusion yourself. So if it's true that the senses themselves, that which create this experience of physicality, if it's true that they themselves don't exist, then my friends, what is physical? Is there anything physical? Because it's the senses. Remember, the scientific method says observing. That's, of course, seeing. Or using the senses. You could say touching as well if you want to. But it's the senses. So science is saying they are discovering truth, basically, via using the senses. Now, they are completely right in using the senses to observe the world, reality, the awakening state reality. Yes, of course. We can learn what fire is with science. We can learn how to walk correctly with science. This is fine. But it's not the truth of reality itself. It's still within the dream that science is taking place. So it's not the authority on what you are. No scientist can tell you what you are, not the true you. They can talk to you about the dream you, yes. They can help you too, as can a doctor. But they cannot go beyond the senses with the scientific method, which is observing with the senses. Because again, the senses themselves, as we've seen already, do not actually have a home. Meaning, they don't exist somewhere and then come into experience. They're not separate. Because they're not separate, they don't exist or stand out from. Thus, there is only this oneness that creates this apparent duality. We've gone through the senses. So the body itself, all we know of this body is the sensation of it, the taste of it, the look of it, the hearing of it, the smelling of it. You ever smelled your wrist before? So, so we've answered the question already. I put it to you. Do you see how when you understand the base layer of reality, everything else becomes much easier to understand? Okay, yes, there is this dualistic world, this scientific world, this natural world. Yes, things do happen. If I drop something heavy, it will fall down. If I let go of a very light balloon, it will go up. Yes. Natural, physical laws. Yes. Constants, cause and effect. Yes. But all of that is taking place where? Within what is all of that taking place? All of those apparent laws. Do those laws have any power? Upon that which is allowing the laws to even take place, that which is allowing the experience to even take place. If a man on a TV says it's a law that you must jump up and down all the time, will the TV start jumping up and down? Or will the TV just be the TV? While that which is on the experience, the dream, that will jump up and down. Something has to be constant for there to be a perceived change. Science will never get you to the truth of reality unless you want to say science in terms of how we have been doing this direct path investigation. Then we are observing, yes, but ourselves. If we are to say in that way, then yes, observing but oneself, one's actual direct experience. That would be the correct way to use the so-called scientific method to understand reality. Never going into the Maya, into Matrix, into this dualistic world. Not in that way. You can use objects as reflections, as we did with this object. We use this so-called physical object to see that there isn't an object in a previous video. So every single object that you see is a window into truth, if you know how to look at how you are looking. But in terms of the quickest way, the most direct way, is to use the self-inquiry, which means to observe, but so-called backwards within yourself, your actual direct experience. That's what you observe. And you may ask, but how do I observe? You are always doing it, because you are always this consciousness that allows experience to happen. So what you can do is try, because in terms of a doing, a doer, it's going to be that person you believe you are, which is the mind and its memories. Try with that tool, that mind, to look behind it. See that you cannot, but of course try to. But once you see what you see, you have the answer. You have the answer to, am I within the physical world? Or does the so-called physical world come out of that essence that I cannot perceive with the mind? Can the physical world create essence? Can the physical world create that which is allowing it to be? If that sounded confusing, That's fine. It should, really. Because it makes no sense, we have to use reasoning, or higher reasoning, actually. I'll say that again. Can the physical world, that of the senses, produce the experience of it? Or is it more that there is experience constantly happening, and this experience allows the experience of the senses to be, thus the world? If I draw a line, can I draw a line without a piece of paper, without something to draw it on? Even if I have a magic pen that can draw in the air is still first. You see, when we talk about the material world being the essence of the universe, which is what the materialist scientists believe, not all scientists, then we are basically saying that from something that is dead and inert, has no mind, created this whole universe. Like a stone created the universe. You could be philosophical if you wish to, until the cows come home and say, oh, but maybe a stone did do it because X, Y, and Z. And that's up to you, that's fine. I would suggest you will be wasting your time, but that's fine, you can do that if you wish to. I'm just sticking to the direct path, the truth. Of course, a stone is not creating the whole universe. We can knock that argument out just by saying that, again, the stone is only known from the senses, and the senses themselves do not exist as we've seen before. So, the materialist scientists are saying that somehow, from absolute dead inert stuff, came consciousness, came awareness, came experiencing. Of course, the question would then be, what experienced it before it created the universe? I'll talk more about that maybe in another video, because I don't want to conflate what I'm talking about too much. So yes, science versus non-duality. One is saying there is a physical world, one is saying, wait a minute, no there isn't. Just look at your direct experience. So straight away that kills the debate. Even, of course, science will tell you that there is such thing as atoms, which are unobservable, or quarks, with the naked eye, I mean. But that's another story. That doesn't help scientists. This is all down to if you truly want to awaken. If you truly want to awaken, then be sincere with yourself. If you're not quite ready, then of course you will still believe in a physical world and science being the truth of reality. It's down to you. But as always, this course is here to help point you to what is true always. See you in the next video.